My name is Anastasia Pilanenko, and I will be presenting a final part of my ongoing project about Romania's development. In this video, I will discuss 3 areas for intervention to increase the development performance of Romania. But prior to diving into these areas, I would like to address how I will define the increase in development performance expectation. So I will focus on the measures such as GDP per capita, poverty reduction, Human Development Index, and diversity and inclusiveness and social justice. So the first area that I believe should bring a significant boost into Romania's economic performance and economic development is a full integration into the European zone. As of today, Romania is not fully integrated into border-free Schengen zone. Earlier in 2024, air and maritime borders were eliminated, so the only borders that are still left are the land borders, and the land controls still remain in place. Without these free land borders, there are some significant consequences for Romania's transportation system. According to the figures presented at the conference organized by the European Economic and Social Committee in September 2024, Romania loses over €2 million in annual revenue due to significant delays at the borders. This in turn leads to shrinking business profits. It was estimated that a single day at the border can cost between 800 and 2.2 thousand euro, just depending on the type of goods. This also restricts the competitiveness of Romanian transportation industry because the delivery times are becoming longer, and this additionally creates restrictions on tourism for tourists traveling by car and crossing the borders. And not to mention the negative environmental impact because of the significant carbon emissions in heavy traffic jams. As such, in my opinion, this area should be one of the areas of focus for Romanian government, and these restrictions are currently preventing Romania from actually benefiting from what we discussed in the first chapter, was a great geographical position in the middle of continental Europe. So now going to the second area I would like to discuss, just taking a step back, according to the studies of Axemoglu, Johnson and Robinson, countries need good institutions which create environments for growth, innovation, and promote equality and social justice. As we discussed in the first part of the ongoing project, one of the fundamental features of Romanian society is a great discrepancy between the rural area and more developed and rich urban area. That is also sometimes called as a tale of two Romanias. This is one of the examples of ineffective institutions where the rules of the games are not fair and clear for all the participants, that translate into an even distribution of wealth and opportunities across the country. So I'd like to view at this situation, at this imperative, through the lens of Human Development Index. According to the World Health Organization publication, overall Human Development Index for Romania is adequate. It's 0.821 points in 2021, or the 53rd amongst the 191 countries participating. And this is also a positive dynamics in the last decades that moved Romania from lower middle to upper middle income country status. However, it's worth mentioning that despite an overall adequate and good result, there are significant differences between Romania's regional HDR score and its rural areas, often suffering from more restricted access to educational, job opportunities, as well as healthcare, less jobs, lower overall salaries, and just overall reduced economic opportunities for the population in these areas. While metropolitan areas have greater and better opportunities that are also attracting young people and professionals from the rural areas. So with that being said, measures to be implemented should be focusing on overcoming barriers for development in the rural areas. So this could be creating employment opportunities in the regions, addressing infrastructure deficiencies such as like bad roads, inadequate transport system, then access to quality healthcare by investing into renovations of hospitals and creating enough infrastructure, as well as ensuring that people from remote areas can still get access to the medical system. It's also access to the education, so ensuring that there are programs and grants for students that will allow them to get the same level of education that people and students from metropolitan areas, as well as having some branches of the universities and schools in more remote and rural areas that would allow people to get their education of a higher standard. And finally, where I want to move to the last point. So when I was preparing the research in Romania, I was shocked by the facts and the statistics around the situation with the Roma community in the country. So based on 2014 research by the European Commission, over 80% of Roma didn't have access to water and electricity, and the threat of poverty in this community is 3 times higher than the overall average for Romania. There's a huge disproportion in access to the educational system and infrastructure, and Roma populations often live in severely marginalized communities. That leads to even further marginalization and lack of opportunities and examples for the younger generations, so creates a vicious cycle of unemployment and marginalization. Romania has adopted a 10-year plan on fixing the situation back in 2011, and the plan unfortunately hasn't reached all its goals, so it was further revised in 2020 with some amendments that are aimed at improving the situation and continuing implementing the measures such as ensuring access of Roma population to education and employment opportunities, fighting with racism and anti-Gypsyism in the country, fighting with stigmatization and violence against Roma, both through adopting the respective criminal laws and through more preventative measures such as promoting inclusiveness and diversity initiatives. And another important pillar here is also involving Roma representative into policy-making processes that would actually support the Roma systems and make sure that the voices of people are heard at different levels of power. And another pillar is also promoting and supporting cultural identity. So supporting the Romani language classes, making sure that children have access to the schools with the Romani language as well as Romani cultural events. So as a conclusion, I would like to highlight that I picked Romania for this project because it's the closest country among the countries on the list to my native country, to Ukraine. And despite the variances, I can see some resemblances from like cultural things as a culture of blood that we that we discussed earlier, through historical parallels such as the recent transition from the planned into the market economy, and through the more recent political developments in light of the recent announcement about Ukrainian EU accession process. So despite all the challenges that Romania had through the years and some failures and some negative results in the areas of social justice system, I still think that it could be a great example, a great peer example for Ukraine in the post-war recovery. So thank you so much for this course, and I will probably see you later. Thank you.